Welcome back guys to another video. In this video I'll be doing a Doomsday version on who to prioritize, but I'll be doing the Avengers maybe like Saturday and Sunday. I did say I was going to do it, but I thought maybe I'd do the Doom one today because the Doom's more like a priority, more of a popular thing right now, so I'm going to do the Doom. Before I begin this video I need to mention two things. The first thing being these two characters are not that good to invest in. Well, her for example, she's the worst character in Doom and she's probably one of the worst characters in the game. Her potential in Doom is very low. Her passives are nice. Her passives are really good. Her runes are terrible. I think the runes are the worst in the game. I didn't even need to check it. It's the heal block runes. The exclusive and the red exclusives are both terrible. Avoid them as best as you can. And this character doesn't really have a place in Doom. Apart from having two amazing passives, apart from that, she's just terrible. The next character is Merlin. Merlin is way better than her, but Merlin still is lacking a few things because there's other people that can do his job better than him, like Doris, for example. She's also someone that is like kind of similar to him, but way better. And then we have someone like Athena that share like similarities. For example, physical reduction by 30%. That's really nice, but again, you can get that from Athena. So why use him? Because Athena is much better because she has Enchanter and other things to make her better than Merlin. The good thing about Merlin is that he does give reflect boost per turn every time he takes action. But how many turns is that? Maybe one, because on round two he's gonna die because he's like 96 speed, which is really slow. And again, reflect boost is always nice, but how many actions is he going to take? Maybe one. That's not good. The best part about his kit though is that he is a Monarchs, but currently Monarchs is terrible in Doom right now because there's not a lot of Dooms that have Monarchs, and it's kind of awkward to fit a Monarch team in the Doom team. Maybe in the future, Merlin will be way more stronger when there's more like Monarch Dooms, but currently he's not as good. So maybe in the future you could build him for the future, but right now he's not that good. If you're trying to make a little budget team or a quick Doom team, then definitely put him in your team because he is free to play, easy access, but not a good character if you're trying to get to the end game at the moment anyway. The next thing I wanted to mention is that if you are going to build a Doom team, you're going to need Doris. Doris is like the mandatory character for Doom. She's better than the Royals, and she's literally one of the main reasons why Doom is strong. And you're going to be needing her exclusive runes. The gold ones are okay. You can use them. They are pretty good. It's got a lot of RNG because it's like a 33% chance that it's going to work. But with a lot of spamming, you may get the best RNG possible and win a few people that you may lose to. But then if you get the red one's just way better because it's guaranteed and it's stronger. So if you are trying to get red runes, I know people are going to say, oh, well, I want to get red runes for the Royals. You need to get the red rune for Doris because Doris ones are basically the reason why Doom is very strong. And it's always consistent with it being a 100% chance. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Apart from the runes, you're going to be needing Doris in general. Doris around 12 stars, her peak. Anything higher than that, you're gonna. It's also nice to have a like 15, 14, anything high like that because you get the general stats like defense. Doom is kind of good when they're bulky. If Doom's like not bulky, then you're gonna die. So the more bulky your units can be, especially Doris, would be nice because if Doris is in the battlefield, her strike is going to increase and her annoying presence is going to increase too because she's very annoying if she just gets to late game with her annoying passive being the I'm going to call it a heal steal because if she does get the turn, for example, let's say she does take a turn and she does get the coin flip, which is positive on her side. Anyone who heals an enemy team will then heal straight to her. So if Karnak heals, let's say Karnak did heal like 100,000, 200,000, right? That's just an example. She would take all the healing and then she will heal herself with it. So it's pretty good that characters like Karnak and Seraphina, like Keisha's can't heal if she does get, if Doris does get the coin flip on her side. Maybe she might not get it, but again, it's always nice to have that little coin flip of a 50-50 chance to get a anti-heal or a heal steal on the enemy team. That's the best part about a kit, that she can do that. Her ultimate, again, it's just straightforward. It's an AoE attack that attacks everyone in a team, and then she boosts and reflect on everyone in the same line as her. So really and truly, you want to put her in the back line, not the front line, because the back line has 3 units and the front line has 2. So if you could boost all the units in the back line and herself, that's nice because you get more reflect overall. And then her second ability is pretty much the same thing, but you only can attack the back line, and then you boost all your back line with a reflect boost. And then her second passive is just a general reflect increased damage passive where every Doom has. So I'm not going to mention this on any Doom characters. You want to put your reflect, or not reflect, so you want to put your talents on maybe red. Don't go any higher than that because it's kind of a waste. But yeah, make sure you have the red talents because red talents are going to matter because you have reflect boost in those. Next thing about this about Doom you want to mention, I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, Arishtar's not that good. I do think Arishtar is probably like this the third best Doom that there is. I know people are gonna be like, well, that's a stretch. I can explain it to you, but you have to keep up with what I'm saying and understand where I'm coming from. So the first thing I want to let you know is that if you are building Doom, we have to go to the Sage Tome for Arishtar because that's how it works. If we go here and you read it on your game, it says that when you're attacked and deal reflect damage, there's a 50% chance to apply 3 stacks of defense boost. You're probably thinking, why am I mentioning this? This doesn't do anything. Well, for Arishtar, it does a lot actually, because keep this in mind that we get 3 stacks if we do reflect damage, which is again high chance we are because the 50% chance we're going to. So if we go back to Arishtar now, how many stacks of defense can she have? Well, if we go to her passive here, to set the first one, it says that she can increase the limit of defense boost by 5 for all allies. So the default stacks of 5, and she can put up to additional 5, which is 10, and every stack you get is 5%. And how many stacks can you get before round 2? We all know round 2 is the most crucial round in the game. How many stacks of defense boost can she get by round 2? Well, if you go into your defense or your attack, when we do align characters, we're going to put Arishtar in the front line because she is one of the tanky units in the game. We're going to put her in slot 1. Why are we putting her in slot 1? Because by the time round 2 starts, slot 1 takes the most damage. Why do slot 1 take the most damage? Because all the people in slot 1, slot 3, and slot 4 on the enemy team would prioritize 1 over anyone else, because basic attacks in round 1 and round 4 always attack slot 1 over slot 2. Slot 2 can only take 2 hits from 2 and 5. Meanwhile, in slot 1, they take damage from 1, 3, and 4. Unless it's a direct character like Lamia in slot 3 here, or Nyx probably. If Nyx was in the enemy team, for example, if Nyx was here, then what I just said would have got out the window. But in normal cases, it's not like that. So how many stacks do you get for Reflect Boost? Again, like I said, there's a 50% chance of you getting 3 stacks. So how much is 1 stack again? We know that 1 stack is 3. And how much could she get possibly by round 2? If you do get the best RNG, you can probably get around 9 stacks because there are 3 enemies. And if all 3 enemies hit you and you do get the coin flip, you might get 3 stacks per 9 stacks. And again, there are 3 enemies. So again, we're going to do the math and we're going to get 9 stacks. So you're going to get 9 stacks of every time 1 stack is 5% defense, we're going to get 9 of those. So that's a bunch of defense already. Then we're going to add on the damage reduction. She has damage reduction in her kit by 30%. So we already know she's very bulky because we've got a lot of defense. And now we've got damage reduction by 30%. And also we've got to mention, if you do have the skin, we do get an additional 10% defense, which is very nice because 10% is a lot on top of the defense we have already from Sage Tome and her passive. And then we have to go back to the relics, because again, relics are very important in Doom. We're going to look at her link skill in the scales. And round 2, because obviously she's going to be getting confused in round 2 because she's very quick. If she confused 1 target that's not Glorians, because Glorians have immunity, she will gain a HP increase by 75% if you have it at round 3 star. If you have it at 6 star, you're going to get 100%, and at 8 star, you're going to get 150. This increases her HP by so much. Like, she's gonna be very bulky, extremely bulky, and no one's gonna one-shot you. And like I said before, how Doom works is that if you do survive a powerful hit, you will reflect all the damage, but if you die, you don't reflect anything. So if Arishtar is very tanky from all the stats I said now and plus the HP, she isn't gonna die to much people unless there's a bunch of damage boosts on the enemy team. She isn't gonna die anytime soon. And how can she be even more bulky? Well, put this in mind that she has max HP of 75, 100, or 150, depending on what your scales is. We have to put the additional boost from the shield. I know a lot of people say, well, they don't stack. These two do stack because they do completely the opposite thing. One gives you max HP and one gives you HP off your one gives you shield off your HP. So if we look here, is it this one? Yeah, it's this one here. So when you cast the thing, you get a shield HP of your max HP, right? Then on top of it, they give you another passive which says it gives you shield points based off their max HP, right? We look here, shield points by 25% of their max HP. Arishta has around 100 or 75 or 150 HP from the scales. Then this triggers around round 3. The second relic normally triggers around round 3. And then maybe you get lucky, you can trigger it round 2, but mainly it's at round 3, round 4. Arishta's going to still have the scale boost on her from the link skill. You're going to get a very fat shield because it basically goes off your max HP. And if Arishta does get a boost from the scales, this is going to apply to also her max HP from the scales. So she's going to be very bulky with a fat shield because it just additional give her a shield of 150, 100 or 75. I'm not sure if you kept up what I just said, but yeah, I try to make it as easy as it sounds. Again, scales go off, scales increase Arishta's HP, and then the shield goes off, and then the shield will base her HP from the HP you got from the scales and give you a shield based off your HP, and her HP is going to be very fat because you just got the scale boost. So that's why Arishta is like one of the best Dooms in my opinion, because she's very bulky and she doesn't die anytime soon. And another good part about her kit is that she has a AoE attack which does a lot of damage, and it can remove debuffs only up to 2 per enemy. But you got to remember most enemies have holy shield, so if the heart bomb does go off, the heart bomb counts as an attack. So it will take everyone's holy shield stacks by 1, and if you are lucky, you could probably dispel the second stack of holy shield, and it will remove the holy shield. So that's very nice to have in your kit. And then maybe you might get the confuse on one target. And if you don't know what confuse does, confuse is again, it says at the bottom here, but I'm going to tell you, if you do confuse the enemy, there's a 50% chance of them actually hitting you with their ability, or they might hit themselves and lose a turn. So again, if the enemy may lose a turn, that's very big on your team. If they don't, then again, that's just unlucky. So that's one good part about a kit. The second good part about a kit is that she can increase damage on the second round. The second round is not the second round, sorry. Round 3 is much more weaker than round 2. We all know that. The fact that she can increase damage on round 2 is really nice. The fact that it's like 15% damage boost on top of whatever damage boost you have on your team. Your team can do a lot of damage because that's where Doom struggles. Doom struggles in doing damage. If Doris is dead, then the team has basically lost the game. I know that Doris's runes linger, even though she's dead or alive. I know it lingers, but Doris has to be kind of alive for Doom to actually do something. Same like Lamia. Lamia has to survive. If she can give them a damage boost, then again, you're most likely going to win the round because those are the two best characters in Doom that are actually going to help you get the win. So giving a damage boost is quite nice to those two characters. And her runes are just okay. Her runes can be used in a Enchanter Doom team. Everyone knows Enchanter Doom teams is actually quite up there with Athena, Halios, and Ophelia, and maybe Lachesis. If you put Arishta in there, anyone that gets a confused, even herself, or anyone in your team, if they can confuse the enemy, it will up the duration from 1 turn to 2 turns if you've got the exclusive runes. And if you've got the red exclusive runes, it puts additional 2 turns by 2. So essentially you're getting 3 turns of confusion and 2 turns of confusion based off your runes. So again, if you are going to run a enchanter team, you need to use the Arishta for the more confusion to be more annoying, or you can run five enchanters, but I'd recommend running 4 enchanters and Arishta with her runes, because her runes is basically game changing in a Doom enchanter team. So yeah, that's pretty much why she's one of the strongest targets in my opinion in Doom. She's really quick, very bulky, and she can use two relics in Doom. Next character, oh yeah, also she peaks at like 11 star. If you don't have 11 star, then she's very useless at 11, but by 11 star she's really good. Underneath that, she's quite useless. So if you're gonna have a Rishta on your team, 11 star minimum. If you don't have it at 11 star, I'm sorry that she's not going to be actually as useful as you think. 11 star upwards is where she peaks, because again, you get the passive from disability here. Without this passive at the bottom, she's not as strong. So 11 star and higher is where she peaks. Ophelia, again, I got Ophelia just recently. In my opinion, I can't give my full strength on her. Like, I can't be like, yeah, she's very good, she's this and that. At the moment, she's okay. I don't have her runes, so I can't actually give you a good, a good view on her. But her runes are quite strong if I look at them on text. But in gameplay wise, it might look good on paper, but in game it might not be good. So again, I can't talk about her runes, so I'm gonna leave the runes out. The best part I can talk about this is the bind removal. Bind removal is very important when you're playing against Victoria or Karnak. If you don't know what bind is basically making you not be able to actually do anything for 2 turns. If they do get it, I think it's a 50% chance of getting it. And if you can remove that bind, it is so important because now you can actually do something. And characters that can stop you are like meta characters. Again, Karnak is quite a meta character. So again, if you do get binded by him, it's annoying. So if you can remove that, it's nice. So that's the good part about her rune set. These two, I can't talk most on them, but they do look good on paper. Her whole kit, she's an enchanter. Enchanter is really good. Like I said before, she could be using the enchanter team. So if you're going to run a Doom enchanter team, you're going to run Athena, Helios, Lachesis, herself, Ophelia, and you're going to run probably Idora if you want 5 enchanters, or you can run Arishta. Another good part about her kit is that she can apply Sanctuary to her team. Sanctuary is basically like Blessing, where if the enemy does attack you, there's a chance of you surviving the damage and not taking 0 damage or taking 0 CC from them. But majority of the time, it's damage. The fact that she can apply this to her team is very nice because if you use this with Lamia, then it's going to be very good with if the Lamia and her because then they get double Sanctuary and Lamia is going to not die as much. And if you use this with the shield, for example, it's going to be even more annoying because the shield does increase the chance. So the chances are 25% and the shield increases it by 20%, this shield here. But you have to have a Lamia in your team or it's not going to work. So it says Sanctuary or Blessing. Again, Blessing goes to Seraphina and Lamia is Sanctuary. If you have this in your team, then you're going to get a 40% chance of actually proccing this because why won't you get a 40% chance? Basically add them together and you're going to get a 40% chance eventually. So that's a good part about Ophelia's kit. Her damage, however, her damage is very high. She's a mage, of course, a magical. So her magical damage is really good, but she can only attack the backline. Most people may think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing because the only person that can attack the backline in Doom is Doris and Merlin. And because they're very slow, they don't actually do much damage, if that makes sense. They may die and not actually do any damage in round 2. With Ophelia being 106 speed, if you have the skin, it's going to put you at 111. She can be able to do a lot of damage in the backline. So in my personal opinion, if you are going to use runes, you should use the full damage runes. I know the best runes are for Doom. They're reflect, 2 dodge. That is the core and the best way to build a Doom. 2 reflect, 2 dodge, because again, you get the reflect boost by 30% if you've got 2 reflect runes. And if you've got 2 dodge runes, you're going to get a dodge rate of 20%. If you do get lucky. And again, Doom is all about survival, so if you can survive and reflect damage, that's great. But with Ophelia, I personally like the full damage Ophelia. Their 40% chart, their 40% additional attack is very nice because again, if you can hit the backline and maybe get a crit, you're going to be doing a bunch of damage and then the Doris runes may kill them. And if you don't know what the Doris runes do, Doris doesn't actually have to move to actually attack. So if we look at her runes here, it says when the enemy take action, they're going to take Doomsdayer damage basically, and it's going to increase it. And it's a guaranteed chance they will hit. And they take a lot of damage, like insane amounts of damage. So this is the best part about running Ophelia at full attack, because if you do a bunch of damage in the backline, then if the enemy do move, they're going to obviously kill themselves because they take damage on action. And maybe if you do a lot of damage with Lamia and Ophelia, you can probably get a one shot on a squishy target at the back. So that's why I run full damage on the DPSs. My Lamia is not really full attack, but I'm trying to get the full attack because the full attack is better in my opinion. Where does Ophelia peak? I actually haven't got my Lamia at 9-star yet. It's only at 8. I haven't bought the season pass yet and the event, but I do think she peaks at 9-star higher. If you don't have her at 9-star higher, it's not that great. The good part about having a 8-star is because you get the enchanter, so you can run an enchanter team. But in my personal opinion, I don't think having a 8-star Ophelia is actually crazy because again, she dies quick and doesn't do as much damage. But when you get to like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then that's where she starts to be very strong and very annoying. But she's definitely someone you should prioritize. Same with Rishtar, and Doris is just the main person mandatory you got to have on your team because she doesn't actually, she's so strong, but she doesn't actually look strong, but she is strong, so she's mandatory in your team. Helios, he's definitely not mandatory in your team. if you are free to play or early game, or you want to run a quick Doom team as a like a side team or a third team, then put Halios in your team. But the bad thing about Halios is, which I don't like, I know everyone knows I hate Halios. The reason why I hate Halios is because he doesn't actually do anything. 101 speed, very slow. That means he doesn't do anything because he can't move. In round 2, he's either dead or stunned, which is just not helpful. And his kit, it doesn't actually boost reflect. So if we look here, there says nothing that in boost reflect. Everything is just like a selfish kit. If in Ethereal, he's great, but in Doom, he's just like very selfish. So again, his ultimate, that it applies a stun, but he has to crit. So Doomsdayers are never gonna crit, so we're gonna just forget about that bottom of the kit because he's never gonna crit. So it's just kind of like a useless factor in the ability. So now it's just a damaging ability, but because it's only a single target damaging ability, he may miss this. If he misses this attack, then he's done nothing for the whole round. And I hate characters that do nothing. Unlike Doris, at least when she moves, she does damage. If she doesn't move, then at least her runes will make up for her not moving. But with Halios is that if he misses, he doesn't do anything. If he gets stunned in a turn by like Talinus, he doesn't do anything. So again, if you can't boost reflect and you can't actually do anything to the enemy team, why have him in your team? He's basically like a meat shield, and I know I said Doom's all about surviving, but there's many meat shields you can have in your team, so I don't see the point of having him in your team. The good news about him is that he is a enchanter, so you can do like an enchanter team. Now he can do an enchanter team, but apart from that, apart from an enchanter team, you don't really want to run Halios unless you're on like the lower end of the game, or you're trying to make a nice cheap Doom team. His runes, however, again, his runes aren't that good. I know people may say having stun for 2 turns is insane, but 25% chance to apply a stun isn't as crazy because that's actually a very low chance of actually applying that. And the whole reason why people are using Doom is because you can kill a Glorian team. And if you are going to kill a Glorian team, they can't be stunned until round 4. So what is the point of running a Halios in your team that can apply a stun with his runes and apply a stun with his ultimate when he actually can't stun Glorians? So again, his whole purpose in Doom is just actually useless. I do think he works well in Ethereal, but in Doom, if you want to run a cheap Doom team, put him in your team. His red runes, I'm not going to talk about those red runes. Those red runes are bad because many people in Doom have better red runes you can prioritize. Overall, I don't think he's good. Where does he peak? I think he peaks at 12 star or higher. If you have him at anything lower than 12 star, then he's not going to do anything. The reason why I say 12 stars because he unlocks everything at 12 star, and if he does manage to get his ultimate off, it's going to be a very strong attack. But again, there's too much of ifs or buts. So again, not a good character in my personal opinion. I won't recommend anyone prioritizing him unless you're forced to. Athena, I do think Athena can be prioritized because she can be used in 2 teams now. She could be used in just a general Doom team because she is a very strong Doom. She's very annoying. With high speed at 114, she can apply her ultimate, and her ultimate is better than like Halios. It may not do a lot of damage, but it can apply a reflect boost on 2 random allies. Again, that's really nice. Because it does low damage, it can apply something because it does low damage, which is nice. And it can hit 2 people. So if she misses one person, at least she hit the other. So that's a good thing about Athena, is that she can do that. She also has damage reduction in her kit, but for herself, just like Halios. They both have it. So again, she is way better, way better ally to have in your team than Halios because they do exactly the same thing. It's just that she does it better, and then they have the same increased reflect. So again, oh no, actually she has increased reflect and he does too. But again, it's also nice to have this in your team. And her second ability is whatever. It's like the ult, but it's just a bit weaker. You can use an enchanter team. So if she can hit 2 people, that's nice. She might get a double confusion. Unlike Halios, you use him and you may confuse 1 person, but with Athena, you may stun 2 or confuse 2. Sorry. Her runes, like I said before, they're just like Merlin but better. The fact that she can apply the physical reduction by 30% to all allies is very good. Something Halios can't do. So her runes are more to prioritize than Halios because she can apply damage reduction. Physical damage reduction, that's the main one. That's like Naui, Idora, Karnak, they're all physical damage dealers. They're very annoying. They're top tier. Makaria, Victoria, they're all the strong powerhouses in the game. If you can have the more physical reduction, that's good. The bottom part of her passive or her rune passive is that she gets a attack boost for herself. That part of the kit is very bad because again, Athena is a very weak target anyway. If she can make herself a bit stronger, it doesn't really do anything. So ignore the bottom part of her kit, especially the one down here where it says 100% chance. Just ignore that because realistically, Athena doesn't do any damage anyway. And if she can boost herself, that's nice, but it doesn't do anything. Would I recommend people to get the red runes for Athena? No, please do not get the red runes for Athena. If you have a lot of red runes to spare, then go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend getting that because it only goes from 30 to 40, and that extra 10% is not as insane as it is because 10% on damage reduction is not insane. It seems insane, but it's not. If it was like 30 to 50, then I would recommend it. But the 30% is just good. Just have that in your team, and you will notice a big difference. But you won't notice a big difference from 30 to 40. You really won't. And like I said before, you have reflect and dodge. Again, these are the dodge runes, the boots of the dodge runes for Empire. You get a 50% dodge in battle for yourself. That's nice because then it increases your survival rate. And then you get a reflect boost by 30%. Also another good thing in your kit. So again, please have this on most people. And Ophelia, Lamia, and Madeline, you can go full damage on them. But people like Arishtar, Athena, Doris, you should have these type of runes. So again, reflect dodge. Yeah, that's nice. Athena's exactly the same. My Doris, I was quite unlucky with my Doris, but I do have 2 reflect, so it's better than nothing. Oh wait, Madeline too, oh, and Lamia. I don't think Madeline is as good as people say she is. I know Madeline is a nice character. She looks nice. She can have a good potential in a protector team. There is a protector Doom team. If you don't know, you can run 4 protectors. That's with Cat. That's with Cat, Lamia, Madeline, and Karnak. If you have 4 protectors in your team, you can run a 4 protector team, which is very nice. But the bad thing about it is that they lack in actually doing a lot of damage because I know they get Karnak and they get Cat and they get Lamia, but and you get Doris in your team too. That's the five people, but the damage is not as big as it looks like because they don't actually do anything. They take long to crit and it's not as strong, but it's a decent team if you want to run something unique. But it's not the best team. The best team in Doom is running 5 Dooms with Doris or running a Enchanter team with Arishtar. But if you want to run a weaker team to be more unique, then you can run 4 protectors and put Madeline in there. Apart from that, Madeline's passives are quite bad. I hate her passives. That's why I don't use her. The last passive, the second passive, is the good part. It has damage reduction or reduced damage. It doesn't actually say. It says damage reduction or reduced damage. It doesn't really say what it is, but we're gonna call it damage reduction by 50% for the backline. That's very nice. We love that. And then it has damage Doomsdayer increase reflect by 40%. That's also really good. But the bad thing I hate about her kit is that it says she has to be deployed. I hate that. What that means is that she has to be alive for it to count. If she dies, then it disappears. I hate the fact that they have this in the game for Doomsdayers. That if you kill Madeline, then you lose the backline damage reduction and you lose the Doomsdayer 40%. So when she's deployed, she increases Doomsdayer reflect by 40%, and when she's alive, she reduces all enemies damage dealt to the backline to allies by 50%. That's when she's alive. So if she dies, then well, you lose all her passive, which again I don't like. And then her second passive, Dragon Blood, it's like Janna. They place a person in a dead position. So let's say Arishtar or Doris died in your team. That slot will be filled up with a little baby dragon, a Draco, and then it basically just tanks damage and maybe does a bit of damage after they die. But again, do you really want that? Not really. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and they don't actually take a lot of damage. They're just there to be annoying and there to indirect their abilities. So if you've got a Nyx in the enemy team and Nyx kills Doris and then Madeline spawns her Draco, Nyx would then have to kill the Draco again to then attack anyone else in your team. So that's nice, but overall, it's a bad passive, so I don't like it. And another thing I don't like about Madeline is that I know she has 106 speed. That's cool. But the bad thing about I don't like about her kit is that it says 2 random allies. So let's say you're in a game and there is someone that's low HP, maybe Talonist or someone that survived a Monarch. We all know Monarchs is really meta right now, very annoying, and they survive a lot of damage. They may be a 1 HP. Madeline may miss the target because it says 2 random allies. And if there is 5 enemy or 2 random enemies, if there is 5 enemies in an enemy team, the chance of her missing is very high because there's 5 and she can only hit 2. So she may hit the 2 front lines, which you don't want to hit the front lines, or you may hit 1 front line, 1 back line, and again, you don't want to miss targets. So I don't like the fact that it says 2 random enemies. The second thing, it says 3 random enemies. This is a bit better. I know it does less damage, but it's a bit better. But again, I hate the fact that it says 3 random enemies. All I know is that this could be missing for all I know. I don't watch my battles, but again, if it does miss, it's not helping anyone. The good part about the ultimate and the second ability though is that it does boost reflect. So on all allies. So good for her. She can boost reflect on all allies. That's the best part. But the 2 random allies just doesn't do it for me. And her first passive, the Draco, I think that just sucks. It's not good. So Madeline is not really the best of units in Doom. She has a nice runes. I like the runes. The runes are nice. Both of them are really good. The last one and the middle one. They're both nice, but overall, if I was really going to make a Doom team, I'm putting Lamia, I'm putting Ophelia, I'm putting Doris, Arishtar, and then maybe I might put the last Doom. The last Doom could be her, or it could be Seraphina for the heals, or it could be Athena. So overall, I don't think Madeline is as good as people make her out to be. But if you want to run it on your team because you like the look of her, then you can definitely put her on your team. Where does she peak at? She peaks at like 9 star. 9 star is really good for her. Maybe 12. 12 is like the main strong spot for most units on this game. If you can get to 12, then that's great. 9 star is probably the peak in my opinion. If you have her at 8 star, it's not that great because you don't have much stats. Sure, you unlock Protector, but again, you want to make them very bulky. And if you can make more Dooms bulky, you're going to be doing more damage because at the end of the day, Doris's runes linger if she's dead. She doesn't have to be alive to apply this in her team. She can always do this 100% of the time. So again, if people can survive and the Doris rune can do all the work, that's the good part about their kit. So that's why I say she has to be like 9 star, because that's where most characters get bulky. If they can survive at a higher star rate. The more star rate means the more bulk they get, because they get physical and damage, physical and magical defense, and then they get HP. So like you see my one here, it says I got 900k and I got 900k. But then if I look at a target like Arishtar, I know she's a support. Okay, that's a bad example actually. Let's look at Lamia. Lamia's got more stars and it goes from 1,000, 10,000, both of them. And this is 900. People may say that's not a big thing, but it actually is big in game. Did I say Lamia? Oh no, I haven't actually talked about Lamia actually. Lamia again is one of the best targets. Please prioritize her in your team. She's definitely one of the best Dooms in the game. I'll put her second best Doom after Doris. It goes her, then Arishtar. Her ultimate is very annoying if you can spam this. So really and truly in a real scenario, you want to put her in the front line, maybe slot 2, because Arishtar is going to be slot 1. If you don't want to use Arishtar, you're a bit crazy if you don't, but if you don't want to use her, then you could put Lamia in slot 2. Not slot 2, slot 1 if Arishtar's not in your team, but it's quite risky because you could die. But if you want to put her in slot 1, you can. But please remember that if you don't have her second passive, you can't do the ultimate. So again, you have to have her at what, 7 star? Yeah, you gotta have it at 7 star to get both passives. Otherwise, you can't do the ult spam. The ult spam only comes at 7 star, not 6. Where does Lamia peak? I think Lamia peaks at like 10 star. 10 star, 11 star, 12 star around there, because again, like I said before, you get the bulk. You need to be bulky, especially in Lamia. You gotta be very bulky because she's gonna be getting hit all the time. You don't put Lamia in the backline. Lamia is not a backline DPS. You can put her in the backline, but you won't be utilizing that passive a lot to be doing a lot of damage. So again, you gotta put her in the front line so you can utilize that to be very annoying. And or her passive too, not passive, sorry, her rune skill is exactly the same thing. It goes off her ultimate. Her ultimate is the main part of her kit. If she can utilize the Sentry from Ophelia, then she's going to be very annoying to kill, and she's going to be spamming her ultimate all the time. But if she's in the backline, she can't really spam her ult because the backline do not take damage. So put her in the front line, make her take as much damage as possible and survive. So again, she has to be like maybe 10 star, 11 star, 12 star to be very bulky. And if you've got Seraphine, if you've got Ophelia in your team or Seraphina, her survival rate will go up from like maybe 10 to like 50 because you get the blessing spam, you get the heals, you get the increased HP depending on what target you have. So you have to have one of these targets in your team to make her as strong as she can be. What else about her? She can be running a protector team. That's pretty much it. My runes, you can run double reflect or double dodge. If you want her to have a high survival rate and be very annoying, you can go double reflect, double dodge. I've done it before, as you can see. Well, I changed this, but I did it before. I do like it. It's not bad, but for me personally, with how my Doom team is, I want to go for a more damaging team because I'm using a Rishtar in the first slot. So in the second slot, it's not as much damage, so I'm going for a more damaged Lamia. So I'm going full damage Lamia, but you could do 2 dodge to reflect. That's pretty much it for Doom. If you want to ask me, are these which ones more worth it to get? Leviathan is okay. Leviathan isn't as crazy as people make it out to be. The whole point of using Doom is to kill Glorians. We don't care about killing anyone else because we can kill them. We just want to kill Glorians, and Leviathan doesn't do anything to Glorians because they have CC immunity, which means they can't be stunned, they can't be CC'd, crowd control, they can't be anything. So Leviathan is only good for the fact that after round 3 you could potentially stun them, but apart from that, it's not good against the team you want to kill, which is Glorians. So you don't have to have Leviathan if you don't want it. You could use this, for example. I know it looks a bit troll, but you could use this because they do the same thing. All we care about is getting the charge for the next relic, and they both give 30 boost or 30 flame or 30 relic charge, whatever it's called. They both do exactly the same thing. So again, we don't really care for Leviathan because you can also use the claw, because the only reason why we're actually using Doom is to kill Glorians. As for the second relic now, some people may want to use the shuriken or the blade. I call it a shuriken because that's what it is. The shuriken is nice. It does a lot of damage, like insane amounts of damage, and it does do what is it? What it does do a stun, but a stun again, you know, Glorians don't are CC immune, so there's no point actually trying to get the stun. So in my personal opinion, the shield is just 10 times better because it works with the link skill with Lamia and Seraphina, two very amazing characters in Doom, and then you get the shield to increase your survival rate with Arishtar and anyone in the front line, and then overall it's just a way better relic in my opinion because there's no actual counterplay unless you just all out just damage the team and kill them. The scales is obviously the best relic in Doom. People may say it's not. The reason why I say it's the best one, maybe other Doom users will say the same thing, is because Doom lacks in survivability when it comes to healing. There's no healers in Doom if you don't know. So the only way you can actually have true survivability is either having Lachesis in your team in a Enchanter Doom team, having Seraphina in your team, having 2 strikers with Doris and Seraphina, and the Blessing and the shield together, making survival rate go up from like an insane amount. Or you can also have the scales and rely on the scales, but the scales, the heal's not crazy. You gotta get to like maybe 6 star, 7 star for this scales to actually be insane. Again, at 7 star you get to heal 5 people, and at 3, I think at 3 or 2 star you can heal 3 allies, and at 7 star you get to heal 5 allies. So again, you want to have it around 6 or 5 because that's where these relics start to peak. Again, at 5 star it removes 5 stacks, which is nice, and then 6 star, again, like I said before, the Rishtar HP goes up from 75% to 100%, so that's additional 25%. That's big. And then again, if you get to 7 star, you get the 5-man heal, the 5 ally heal. So overall, you want to have it around 6 5 star, around 6 to 7 star. You want to have it around those. Mine's only 3 because I'm working on other things. I'm not a whale, I'm not a dolphin, I'm just a player. But if you want to run a very good Doom team, try to get the scale to around 6 7 or 8 star, because it's your only good survivability. The hammer, we're not even going to talk about this. I do think the hammer is overrated. It's not as good. I know it says it gives you damage reduction on your team or magical damage reduction on your team, but magicals are not the strong things in this game. It's all about that physical damage. So the hammer is not as good, and it takes a slot up from the shield. The shield is better in my personal opinion. So do not worry about getting the hammer. The hammer is not that good. As for the whip, I can't tell you. I don't know. The whip's not even out yet. I don't know anyone that's actually used the whip because it's not out yet. I haven't used the whip on PTS myself. If you don't know what PTS is, playtest servers. I haven't used the whip on playtest servers, so I can't actually give you my personal opinion. But most likely, reading from what I've read before, I do think it can be a decent rune if you're running Ophelia in your team. If you or relic, sorry, but if you don't have a Ophelia in your team, there's no need to actually run this. So yeah, it's mainly for Ophelia. If you don't have Ophelia in your team, just run the scales. The scales will do way more things to your team. But if you do have Ophelia in your team, please run the whip. Other characters that you can use in Doom to help your Doom team. Other Doom characters are like, for example, Seraphina. Seraphina is a very strong character in Doom. She can help Doom a lot with their survival rate, healing, and you have Ignore Shields. Again, the one person that actually makes Doom weak is Ethereals. Dooms can't kill Ethereals because they have a lot of shield. So if you can ignore the shield with your damage, then you can actually maybe kill a Ethereal team. But I highly doubt it that you can kill them. But it's also nice to have it. And then you get this at the bottom too. This will also apply to maybe Idora or Karnak, one of these, or Cat, for example. This was also really nice because they can actually kill themselves with this. So again, Seraphina is a good unit to have in Doom. Another good unit to have in Doom. Oh wait, oops. Twins is actually really good. As weird as it sounds, it does help in Doom. It's not like a priority. It's not a big thing. You just want to have it in your team because you get the monarchs. You can use it with Merlin if you're like on a free to play or early game stage. This is very nice. But again, if you want to upgrade to a better target or a better character, like Keisha's is way better because you can run the Doom Enchanter team, a very strong team. This will be way better for a healer. And she has all buff removal, so she can remove her shields to the enemy team, so you can do damage and be annoying. Or if you don't want to run an Enchanter team, you can just run Seraphina because Seraphina is better than Twins. But if you're on the free to play side or the early game side, Twins is not a bad unit to be using in Doom. Anyone else? Not really. No one else is actually good. Ashlyn, I've tried Ashlyn in the past. There's just no reason to use Ashlyn apart from the Enchanter. But there's so many other people you can use like Lakeisha, so there's no need for Ashlyn. Anybody else? There's nobody else. No one in Mystifiers. No one in Val. You can use her. She's good in any team. We all know that, right? But actual good units, no. There's no one here apart from these two. You can use in Lamia and Madeline. You can use those two. Again, she's the only unit, and she's the only unit, and that's it. So yeah, if this video did help, I know I rushed it. The reason why I'm rushing this video is because there's a lot to say, and Doom is quite straightforward once you get going. Once I tell you a bit of knowledge, you'll get to know how to use Doom. But Doom is more like you put people together and they'll work, but you need to know how to put them together. So that's basically it for Doom. If there's anything I missed out, please put it in the comments. And if you want me to go over anything, maybe you didn't understand me because I'm speaking quite fast, then type out the second of the video, maybe type it in, like maybe say like 24 minutes, 30 seconds. I would then click it and see what I said and reply to you. But yeah, hopefully this video does help people. I would like to see more Doom users in this game because there's a lot of Glorians, and we've got to kill the Glorians because Glorians are so annoying. They will never be defeated anyway, but it's nice that people can try and kill them. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I'm out.